United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to thank everyone for coming on this nice, icy, snowy, we need moisture. Bobby, if you could call order.
Commissioner
Roll,
Nathan
please.
Liker,
Here.
Chair Neil Younger,
Here?
Commissioner Michael Burgess.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Order of business, there will be number 8, 9, and 10 will be, hopefully next week, we can get them due to weather. Okay, prior minutes, gentlemen?
Prior minutes look good.
Okay. And the consent agenda, anything on that?
Nothing on that. So I'll move to approve consent agenda items A through G.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Anyone in the audience that is not on the agenda? Oh. Okay, reorganization.
Good morning, Commissioners. Darren Myers, County Administrator. First agenda item for this morning is this afternoon. The first agenda item is to go through the reappointment process for several different items for the Ellis County government, ranging from the chair and vice chair of the county commissioners, and then the commissioners' appointments that you each sit on for different boards in Ellis County. Talking about the different banks, the newspapers, dates, meetings, times, and the PBC, Public Building Commission. Hopefully confirming the reappointment of all your department heads. And then look at the different other boards that are in the county, like the Fair Board, the Care Council, the Aging Council, and the Local Emergency Planning Committee. So going through all those, we kind of visited about this a little bit last week. One of the updates was for the Ellis County Historical Society. In speaking with Amanda Rupp, that liaison position, she has chosen to do that. That was one that was vacant, so she will continue, as you all know, she has been coming to the county commission meetings, and she'll just continue to do that and be that liaison for you to provide information back and forth from their board to yours. We did update a couple different positions within the Local Emergency Planning Committee, LEPC. It was one of the discussions after the meeting that Commissioner Liker had in regards to having IT, information technology, on that committee. And speaking to Mike Liker, our IT director, has decided that he will join that as well, just to talk about the IT security issues. And the Care Council had one new member, and the Fair Board had one new member. So those were all the updates from last week.
Okay.
So all the suggested motions for all those actions are within your packet for the 2024 reorganization of the commission.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, with that being said, I will move the commission appoint Mr. Nate Liker as chair of the Board of County Commissioner for 2024 year.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll move.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say I'll move to the commission appoint Commissioner Michael Burgess as vice chair of the Board of County Commissioners for the 2024 year.
Okay, I will second that. A motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Okay.
Okay.
Next one. I can't put myself on there, so somebody's going to have to make that motion.
Okay. I'll move to commission appoint Commissioner Younger to the Northwest Kansas Community Corrections and Juvenile Services Board, Commissioner Michael Burgess to the High Plains Mental Health Board, And then somebody will have to finish it to put me, I guess, on the Workforce One.
And I will move to put Commissioner Nate Liker to the Workforce One CEOB for the year of 2024.
Second on both those motions.
Okay, motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion approved.
Okay. I have no comment on the recommended appointments or any of the other board positions that we've have been presented. So with that, I would move the commission approve all recommended appointments as specified in the staff report for 2024.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. I missed
Aye.
one. I jumped.
Okay,
I'll move the commission designate the official depositories in county newspapers and regular meeting days and times, and Ellis County, Kansas Public Building Commission directors as recommended by staff for 2024.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. And as everyone can see, we've got all the dates on there, so everybody take those in note and try to attend. Okay. I will turn it over now to Mr. Nate Liker as the chair.
Okay. With that, our next agenda item is Ellis County Communications Employee Introductions. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Jeff Ridgway. I am the new Director of Communications here for Ellis County. Thank you for that opportunity. With me today is two of our staff. Others originally were going to be here today, but due to the weather, have elected to come next week and hope it's a little bit better travel opportunity. Brian Mize serves as one of our shift leads, so he's one of our supervisors downstairs. And one of our newer employees, Josiah Laughlin, joined us just before the end of last year, and so he's still going through our training program. So these are we're three of your new employees, if you will, as we make this transition from the city of Hayes over to Ellis County. So,
Welcome aboard, fellas.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excited.
Welcome
Welcome aboard.
Glad to have you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We're skipping that and that and that. Okay. Next, we'll have the promotion of Mr. Michael Weber to the position of Deputy County Appraiser. Eugene?
Oh, I can't.
Good afternoon, Eugene Rupp, County Appraiser. I just wanted to take an opportunity to introduce you to Mike Weber. I have appointed him as our Deputy County Appraiser for the county. Mike has been employed here since 2004 in our department. He's had his RMA as Registered Mass Appraisal designation since 2020. Been moving him into a little bit more of the commercial side of appraisal the last 2 years here, and just thought I'd put a face with the name for those of you that aren't familiar with him. So this is Mike Weber.
Okay.
Well, welcome aboard. Or, well, not welcome aboard. Congratulations
Yeah,
on the promotion.
congratulations.
Got some shoes to fill.
Got a good teacher.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Next, we have opioid funds request. Go ahead.
Oh, I can't.
So, Mike Smith, District Court Administrator. I'm going to introduce Erin Geist. She is putting in a request for opioid funds for sweat patches for the drug court team.
Okay, so as part of the drug testing program for the drug court participants here in Ellis County, they're required to be tested a minimum of twice a week. We know that holidays are a really difficult time for our population. We had several who really struggled through Thanksgiving. We were at a conference about 2 weeks before Christmas in Salina, and were presented an opportunity to utilize sweat patches. The sweat patches could be placed on the clients for up to 14 days. So we purchased the sweat patches and placed everybody on that Friday before Christmas, so December 22nd. And then it remained on their person until January 2nd of 2024. So we were able to drug test them that entire length of time without interruption. We're requesting $1,256, which would reimburse the community corrections for the lab testing portion of those. The sweat patches themselves cost $15.50 a patch. We normally pay $4.65 for a urine cup, so it's quite a bit more expensive just for us to pay to put somebody on the patch. But the lab testing is the pricier portion of this, which costs $78.50 for it to be sent into the lab for confirmation on all the drugs that we test for.
Well, I got the burning question. Was it successful?
We actually do not have the lab testing results back yet. They were just sent in last week, Wednesday, so we probably won't have those till later in the week.
Okay. Would you mind coming back and reporting whether or not this new technology was successful for everybody who's listening?
Yes, absolutely.
Be great. Thank you. Commissioners?
That is, that's great if it works. We'll see. So I would, like the chair said, I would like to have report, Aaron, if you could come back, and that way everybody in the community knows, not just us, so. Yeah.
Sure.
It works well. I'll move to approve the reimbursement of $1,256 to the Northwest Kansas Community Corrections using the opioid settlement funds.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you.
Aaron, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Microsoft Office 365 renewal.
Good afternoon, Mike Liker, Ellis County IT Director. But today I'm presenting the renewal for the Office 365 subscription. It did go up. 2 of the 4 licenses that we pay for went up 15%, and we've added licenses because we added dispatch. So I'm presenting to you because of that increase. It's a normal subscription renewal. It's for our email, calendaring, office products. So it's one of those things you kind of can't really live without. But the total subscription for 1 year for Office 365 is $39,840. So I'm asking to renew that. Any questions?
This is just an annual subscription?
Yeah.
Based on our use, or
That's-
number of users, pretty much?
Right. We have 3 different tiers of users. We have, and they're all in the government pricing tier. We have G3, which are the full users, G1, which are more of your web-based users with email, and then kiosk are strictly web-based email. A lot of our EMS technicians have the kiosk license. And then, of course, we have archiving for the G1s and the kiosk licenses. Those are the 4 tiers that we pay for. And G3 and the G1 are the ones that went up. It's like $2 a month per user for each of those that it increased. So it went from 8 to 10. And I think it was, each one went up to 8 to 10 on the G1 and $21 to $23 per user per month on the G3. So, and we knew this was coming. They warned us last year. We were able to get in February before they went with the increase in March. So we were able to budget for this. So it is within I budgeted for it, so that we should be okay.
Okay. And I think this was a question I had last year, but this is we've been utilizing these products and haven't had any problems with them.
Yeah, we've been using Office 365 for about, I think, 4 years, maybe 5, and it's worked real well. Everybody's real happy with it. It just works.
Okay.
So, yeah, and everybody needs email.
Right. Oh, and we're using Liftoff as a vendor because we don't deal directly with the Microsoft company.
No, I'm not even sure if Microsoft, well, they will sell to us directly, but Liftoff is the vendor that we use, the integrator that we used when we migrated from Lotus Notes to Office 365. They provide support for us. If we have Office questions, they answer them. It's part of our, I mean, we don't really even pay them, and they always answer our questions. Whereas Microsoft, going through Microsoft is a kind of a nightmare, but they've always been very helpful with us going through Liftoff. So.
Great.
I was going to ask that question, but you answered it. So do you anticipate it, and you probably can't answer the question, is it going to go up some more continually?
They haven't said anything about an
Okay,
increase.
good.
And usually they give almost a year's notice, or at least 6 months' notice when they do that. And Liftoff actually was the first one to tell us,
Good.
hey, Microsoft's going to be going up. So as a reseller and integrator, they usually get the first hint of those increases, and they haven't said anything. So I'm not anticipating it going up. You never know for sure, but usually they're pretty good about telling everyone. So, yeah.
And it's something that we need. We're all getting spoiled, so we need it. Without it, everybody's lost.
Right, yeah. We really don't have many options. I mean, we can't even go with like a Gmail or anything like that because it's not secure enough for us. So it's not an enterprise-based email system. So, and we still need Word and Excel and PowerPoint and all those things, which comes with it as well. So.
Yep.
Got it.
I don't have any questions, so I move to approve PO 7800 to Liftoff LLC for the renewal of the Microsoft Office 365 one-year subscription renewal.
I will second that.
I have a motion and a second. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay. Next, we have the departmental inventory report.
Bobby Dryling, County Clerk. So every year, the clerk's office is responsible for sending out to each of the departments the forms to update all their inventory, either to add to it or to take off if they no longer have that inventory. I have now gotten that back. All that inventory is in CIC. So I'm just needing to have you, I'm sure you read it all. Let's see what every piece of property we kind of have in each department. So I just need to have it approved, and then I will file it away.
Bobby, question for you on this is a lot of the items that are mentioned throughout the report, there's ones and twos and singles and stuff. Is that stuff that the changes that have been made, or is that the full inventory?
I don't know. I mean, you would have to ask each department. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know how they, because I have very little inventory.
Right.
So, I don't know, Darren, is there any way you can answer that?
I don't remember, yes.
Thank you.
I don't remember which commissioner I had spoken to about this, but our fixed inventory policy is one of the policies that's on my long list of short things to do. So the policy for fixed assets states that anything, so it's not every single thing in the county government, like the flag sitting there behind you. However, if there's any one item that's listed as $2,500 or more, that's on this, or if you have a multitude of items that collectively, so like a pager that I wear, it's only $500, $400, $500 a piece, but we have about 120 of them, so they're all listed. So that's how everything is on there, and then throughout the year, or at the end of the year, when Bobby sends out the report, departments have the ability to remove something if it's been sold or discarded of or no longer used, and then add new items as well. So that's kind of how this policy came back or how this fixed asset piece came in. And this is kind of a new system. Mike may be able to remind me once we started using the new piece of CIC for this, which I think maybe 3-4 years ago was when we started. So it's kind of, we're building it, and as I stated it as well, since we now have a communications department, this is another item that will be fixed this year with Jeff Ridgway to start listing all of that communications equipment, as well as out at the fairgrounds. We did notice there's some items out there that we're missing as part of this that we'll also start updating this year to get on there as well. The fairground item was they just purchased a mower, a rider, Husky mower. I don't remember the brand, but items like that will go on this year for the fairgrounds. So that's kind of how the whole fixed asset comes together.
Okay, but if, let's just say items may be overlooked or missing on this inventory list, they are on an insurance policy list, more or less?
Correct. We have a second list that the clerk's office also maintains with, it's called Origami, their website within K-Camp, and it's a much more detailed list of valuations, locations, descriptions, addresses, a lot more information that's involved in that. All the vehicles, year, make, models, VINs, it's more detailed than this list, and that's kind of the more important ones. That way we're ensuring that all of our property, whether it's fixed, whether it's out in the open, or if it's a vehicle, a structure, contents of a building, those are all listed and insured in that policy.
Okay. Thank you, Darren. Commissioners?
The communications department, because that equipment was already county, am I remembering right? I mean,
Correct. All that equipment is county, but there's maybe going to be some new things. And Jeff and I really haven't been able to visit a whole lot about it yet. But like the North Tower, that was just recently purchased and just completed here. We're actually still, the final testing just got completed. So that would be one of the to-do lists with Jeff, is to make sure we have all that on there, each console, kind of get more detail now that we actually have somebody that can focus on somebody that's there every single day to inventory all that equipment.
okay. Will that be completed before, I assume before the end of the year, but will we approve that like we are, well, not really approving, but
You won't really see it till next year.
until January of next year? Okay.
Unless you want to see it after we get it completed here in the next few months. We can bring it back, at least give you the inventory before then, and still have it on the agenda next year at this time as well, if you want to see what those items are. I'd be more than happy to bring those back to you.
Yeah, I think I would. No real rush. Don't push to just get it done. So whenever it gets completed this year, I think I would like to have it on record before January of next year.
Shall do.
And I have nothing. I think Bobby went home yesterday, and I think she read through all these, so she's got them down.
I know him by heart.
Good job.
There's no motion
We
that
have
needs
no
taken on that. Okay. Next topic is to waive generally accepted accounting principles, the GAAP standards resolution. Darren can explain this more, but this is something we've done in the past.
Correct. I can go over that one, but we also have the Purple Wave agenda item 2. If we can skip back to that one if you want, whichever one you
I'm
want to start
sorry,
with.
I scrolled too far. We can go back to the Purple Wave.
The Purple Wave auction is just your next item. This was a item on last week's agenda that you wanted some clarification on a few pieces. 2 of those sections was the EMS, or the equipment from EMS. And as I let each of you know before the meeting, that Danita did send you an email. She's kind of snowed in and feeling under the weather this morning. But that email had some pictures of the laryngoscopes, the pagers, the radio equipment, and the vents, the batteries, and everything like that with some descriptions. If you want I don't know if you had a chance to look at those this morning. I can explain those a little bit more now that we had those detailed descriptions, if you like.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Because I've had people ask, so I'm just as curious as what they were, so, or are.
So I will start off with, pull it up, the ambulance. She just described everything. The ambulance was the first item on her list. That was the ambulance that's got about 196,000 miles on it, and it's got some engine repairs as well as the power load cot in the back of the ambulance. By the time you add up those expenses between the power load cot, which is about a $40,000 to $50,000 system, and then you add up the repairs to the engine, is going to cost more than what we would probably get to sell it after the new ambulance arrives, and that new ambulance is supposed to be arriving within the next couple of months. So instead of continuing to keep it in service, she has it parked, so that way no more damage comes to it. So that's why the ambulance is on there for the Purple Wave list. The next item is the King Vision video laryngoscopes. These were replaced back in 2020 when Jason Kennedy was the EMS director, and they still no longer use those. And like I kind of stated last week, it's just the new laryngoscopes or newer technologies. The screens are better, so that way when you put those down into the trachea of a patient, you can see better the vocal cords and the esophagus and items like that. With so the next item on that list was the AutoVent 3000 units, and those are the ventilators that are used on calls to ventilate a patient. We did replace, they were purchased in 2004, so they're 20 years old, but with the ARPA funds that we received several years ago in the CARES money, those were items that the commission agreed to replace with the newer updated ventilators, so that's why those are on that list. There's two different types of ventilators, but that's two of the items that were on our list. The next two items were a set of batteries, and those were the batteries that were part of the EKG monitors. And obviously the EKG monitors are the cardiac monitors, the monitors heart rhythms, and they can do the shock a patient and put out their EKG strips and everything. As you know, those monitors are being replaced or have been replaced, and she's working on grants to replace more of them. So that's why those old batteries are being removed as well. The next item were Monitor 5 Motorola pagers. Several years ago, as actually Mr. McHugh was two EMS directors before at his time period, all EMS personnel on or off duty carried pagers, and with the technology of cell phones, we are now able to receive EMS, fire, and law enforcement calls on our phone. So instead of spending $400 to $500 per pager, as well as having it on our phones, he no longer required the EMS personnel to carry the pagers, and that's why they've been sitting there. And they bought new ones for the 8 personnel that are on duty every day, and they're Minitor 6 pages, which is the next version of those pagers. We're having trouble finding places to repair or having quality batteries for those Minitor 5 pagers anymore. And then the next piece of equipment was just some miscellaneous radio equipment. Mostly the radios that are outdated, they won't be acceptable to be used on the system, and they're a different type of radio as well. So there's no use to those, but some other department may have use for some of those older antennas or cables or UHF, VHF radios. So maybe a little bit longer of a detailed explanation of what you expected, but that is the medical equipment.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I looked through her pictures, so I did get a visual of all that.
Yep.
And then the other item that you had question was to have Public Works and Solid Waste do some research between their two CAT 613 scrapers, and both Brendan and Justin are here to explain how they came to the conclusion of which one to recommend to sell. So I'll let them speak to that.
Gentlemen?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just like with anything can break at any point in time. Mm-hmm. As we found with other things, even our brand new truck broke down on Old 40 this morning. Apparently snow and slush getting in the airbox ducting makes it not work good when it can't breathe. With that said, The landfill 613C is a 1987. The one Public Works is a 91. Public Works has about 1,000 more hours on it, but it's had no major repairs. I mean, both have had their bowls and the frog worked on and welded. The one at Public Works has got a nicer seat, has 3 new tires. Either way, we can move seats and tires around, but the only recent work it's had done to it is starter motor, some belts, and alternator. The one out the landfill, it had a new engine and harness at 7,000 hours, had new chain and sprockets at 7,300 hours, new park brake shoes at 7,500 hours, and a reman transmission at 6,500 hours. And it's got 9,300-ish hours on it at the moment. It's got a bit more leaks and small items like that can be addressed, but our recommendation would be to get rid of the one that Public Works is currently using and retain the 1987 model that landfill has and allow us to swap the seat and tires. The one at Public Works has the upgraded hydraulic seat, not the air ride seat, and then we'll put better tires on it because you don't need good tires on the back, but we're not going to get the value out of those brand new tires on it, so
Right.
might as well take them while we can.
I agree. So, that okay with
Yes, yeah.
Justin? So, what we'll end up doing is we'll be able to retain all the best equipment between the 2 machines and leave it in county.
And that's everything we found pointing that would be the better option, but like I said, anything can go wrong. It's heavy equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Gets used, unfortunately, and sometimes used a little bit too hard.
So the one at the 613 from the landfill has got around 9,000 hours. You suggested
9,300 hours.
Okay.
The one
And
at Public
then,
Works is 10,300.
Okay. But it's had quite a bit of extensive work done.
Theirs has, not the Public Works one.
Okay. What about oil samples from after the engine rebuild and harness?
The ones that we have do not show any signs of wear, but
Okay.
they're accelerated signs of wear. But at the same time, things can let go quick, fast, and in a hurry. Usually it gives warning signs, but not always with some things.
Got it. Okay. Technology-wise, we're not giving up anything between
No, they're
the two
both
machines?
613Cs, both same, different years, but same model exactly. It's not one's a 613D or the next model up where it had more technology. It's same motor, same turbo, same transmission, same bowl, same chain and drive. The only difference is Public Works had an upgraded seat
Okay.
for some reason. I don't think they probably spec'd it that way. I think it was just how it was bought when they got it.
Okay.
Did you have a question about the plows as well? Or I know there's a question about the 2 snow plows on our list.
No.
Okay.
That was from Commissioner Younger last year, I believe, on inventory.
And we have 2 extra V plows without graders that can utilize them at the moment, so.
Okay. Well, and that's probably a burning question in everybody's mind right now, why we're selling snow plows when
That's
it's
why I figured I
snowed.
would bring it up. I know it wasn't on this list, but
We don't have enough people.
no, we don't have the, well, yeah, we don't have enough
Graders
people
put 'em
to
on.
Yeah.
carry them. We
No
don't have the
graders.
equipment to put them on there.
Yeah.
Because one was for the territory that is no longer a territory that was done years ago, and a best guess was the other one is either for the landfill that doesn't have a lift group anymore, or from the construction blade that the county had also lost.
Okay.
So,
But we do have enough blades for all of our current operating equipment.
correct.
Okay.
There's 2 that are buried about 8 inches in the mud, or stuck in the mud about 8 inches because they haven't been used because nothing to hook them to.
Gotcha.
And you picked through the better ones, or the ones that fit our units, correct, Brandon?
We're gonna go through that again
Okay.
because just this morning, we had 2 try and hook up to one of the plows and the pins didn't line up correctly.
Okay.
They worked with an undersized pin. We don't know if that's an issue with that one or trying to put them on with the snow blowing, maybe didn't get them perfectly in line.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm good with that, gentlemen, if we're gonna keep the best equipment around.
Yeah. And we can say that all we want, but like I say, anything mechanical made can break, and it will, and,
On paper,
Never know.
that would be the best option, but
okay.
it's had the work done to it that ours was going to have done to it at some point in the future.
Okay, very good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Brendan, one last question. Regarding the scraper, I won't hold you too much on the fire here. We're looking at listing this. Does our shop have the capabilities and the time to make these changes and swaps before listing?
We should be able to. I don't know when. If you approve this list, it should be out within 2 weeks. We should be able to make that swap happen unless, not forecasting a whole lot more snow this week, but if that changes and we're getting another round like we just had now, especially with the colder temps, we may need to reconsider.
Okay.
The operators requested the seat, whatever one we do, keep that seat be moved over. That's the intention of moving it.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
But just wanted to make sure that our shop was able to do that.
Yep.
So,
Shouldn't be a problem.
okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Brennan.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
I move to approve the attached list of the items to be sold on Purple Wave.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Maybe just for the minutes, I might just clarify that the list we had on there was originally to sell the scraper at solid waste, but just for assurance, the approval to sell the scraper from Public Works instead of solid waste.
So just a
Yeah.
flip-flop? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the gap waiver.
This is an item that's usually on the first part of every agenda for the county commission each year, is to waive the general accepted accounting principles. As we, for the county government and most county governments throughout the state, work off the cash basis law. This has been, we tried to do some research a couple years ago to see how, as far back as the county has approved this every year, and it's as far back as we know. But basically, we work off the cash basis law. We recognize when the revenue comes in and when the expenditures are made. And we don't spend any more money than what we have that balanced budget. So this is just something that's required by the state. If we were to change that, we would most likely have to recommend hiring additional staff. There would be additional training for all staff because the reporting criteria would be more, as well as our auditors would have to be spending a lot more time on our reports as well, so our auditing fees would increase. So that's why we have chosen to waive that in the past and recommending to do that into the future. Any questions?
How far is back away?
I think we looked all the way
Is
back
yours-
into like early 2000s, if I
Really?
remember right.
Good.
We have records of every resolution passed all the way back into like 1927, I believe. But
Good.
if you really want, I could try to.
No, that's
further
fine.
back.
That's good. That's good.
There are some counties out there, but they actually have financial advisors and a financial accounting staff that actually spends more time with that. But they're usually a larger county that has to.
Well, I'll move to adopt Resolution 24-01, waiving the GAAP standards.
I will second that.
I have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Or resolution passed. Next is our Rural Opportunity Zone.
The Rural Opportunity Zone, or ROZ, is what it's commonly referred to as, is a new program that was allowed into Ellis County a couple years ago. At those points, the county commissioners had decided, since it was new and still working through budget shortfalls, was to not fund the Rural Opportunity Zone. What the ROZ allows us to do as a county government, it's based on trying to attract residents into your county. And when the county would receive a new resident, they have the opportunity to apply for this as long as they're moving into Ellis County from another county in the state that's not a rural opportunity zone or from a new a citizen that comes from out of state. So if a new resident moves into Ellis County from out of state, they have the opportunity to file for a rebate on their Kansas income taxes for the next 5 years. Or if they are a new citizen from another county, they can also apply for for tuition assistance, which is $3,000 a year for several years. That $3,000 a year is split between the county and the state, the Department of Commerce. In speaking with the Department of Commerce, we currently have 2 individuals on our waiting list for Ellis County. One person is pending approval for funding, so that should go into place fairly quickly, and they have a second applicant that's just pending, hasn't been approved yet, but they're still working through that process. With this new resolution 24-02, as the commission is aware, you did allow funding for RAWS for 2024 at a mark of $15,000. What that will allow is for 10 applicants to move through this to have that student financial loan payments made to them. Obviously, all the funding from income tax would come from the state through the Department of Commerce. And I know the Commissioner Burgess has had discussion with Grow Hayes as they're going to help market this as an economic development tool for Ellis County. And but all the heavy lifting is done through the state. One thing that we're going to try to do to help market this a little bit better, at least on our county website, is to have Carissa create a new web page, not a new web page, a new link on our page with information about the Rural Opportunity Zone with a link to the Department of Commerce, as well as about 6 or 8 different pamphlets and informational flyers in regards to the program, which I've also forwarded on to Grow Hayes so they could share that information as well. So with that, I guess I can take any questions if you have any.
Is this keeping, if it's to incentivize tuition reimbursement, will it keep those people here, or is there an earmark to make sure they stay here for a certain period of time?
So they'll have to renew their update every year. So if they move here for 1 year and are eligible and then move to Colorado, that funding would drop off. So they have to renew it every year. But this also commits, so for every person that we have, this will commit them that $3,000 for 5 years as long as they stay in Ellis County and remain eligible. So if we had 10 people apply and this continues to grow, and every year those 10 people get accepted by the state, our funding amount would have to increase for either to maintain what we have committed to, or if you want to continue to expand it, like next year, if you want to fund it at $30,000, then we would, if all 10 get accepted this year, you could then accept another 10 new applicants for next year for $30,000, and that would continue to grow over 5 years if every year you had everybody renew and 10 new approved RAWS applicants. So essentially, after 5 years, funding could grow up to $75,000 a year for new residents of Ellis County. And I should mention also, by accepting this resolution, this does allow other agencies in Ellis County to be a part of it. As the commission knows, the city of Hayes is also funding it. I believe it also $15,000. So that's an opportunity of 20 new applicants, 10 through the city, 10 through the county. But then if Grow Hayes were to fund it, or Hayes Medical Center, or Fort Hayes, they could allow their own funding to be a part of that. However, nobody can be a part of the RAWS if the county doesn't initiate this process. Even at a $0 amount, it has to be done.
Okay. Questions?
Just comment. Thanks for the city of Hayes, and also thank Grow Hayes for also, helping us out and supporting our community. It's a good thing for our.
Yeah, it's something I've been working towards for the last couple of years. So I'll thank my fellow commissioners as well for not just passing the resolution, but funding it for this year. I'm glad that we already have 2 applications, one approval and one pending. I think we'll get to 10. But if not, I think it's going to be a successful program here in Ellis County. Other counties have kind of argued they haven't seen much out of it, but I also don't think other counties have spent much effort in marketing it and trying to use it the way I expect us to use it in the next year. So I'll thank City of Hayes and Grow Hayes, and again, my fellow commissioners for moving forward with this program.
Okay.
Okay. I move to adopt Resolution 24-02 to recognize Ellis County as a rural opportunity zone and designated by the state of Kansas.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. Is there any other discussion? But okay.
I have none.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. I believe that's it. County Administrator report?
Nothing really this morning. I just wanted to say thanks to all the crews that are out there, from all the different public works crews, the utility crews, fire, EMS, law, everybody that's out in the times where everybody else doesn't want to be out, to help each other clear the roads, keep the power on. So a lot of people were hunkered in their homes for the last 24 hours, but we also had a lot of people that are out doing what they can to keep everybody safe and get everybody back out of their houses safely. So I just want to say thanks to all of them.
Okay. Brendan, would you like to make a comment for the Public Works side, since you're here?
Yes. No. So we have crews out. So we don't have staffing or availability for 24-hour snow removal. Just being a county unit, we've got every mile that's not an incorporated city. So 41 people to cover almost 1,400 miles of roadway. We can't be everywhere. So yesterday, the storm was supposed to roll in a little bit later, so we didn't have anyone come in early besides Foreman and myself. Did what we could until we needed to stop to give the guys a break so they can go home, sleep up. They came in this morning, 5:30. They'll be working till about 5:30, 6 o'clock again tonight, and coming early again tomorrow to help clear things. So we start off with blacktop roads, and from there we move to FAS routes, which are the major collectors. They're not named FAS route, but if it's the one that you see a lot of traffic on, it generally is an FAS route. Those will be the ones hit next, and then we'll get to the secondary roads off of that are a lot of the ag roads that are only traveled when you're checking your crops, which you shouldn't probably be checking those right now with the way it is out there. But we're doing what we can, where we can. When weather like this rolls in, if you don't have to be out, don't go out. We had one of our trucks stuck for about 40 minutes because the vehicle in front of them got high centered in the middle of the road, and the people behind him didn't want to back up. So we had to plow out of commission for 35, 40 minutes, not because he was stuck, but because he couldn't move anywhere. So
Gotcha.
if you do have to travel, stick to the main roads. Vine, Old 40, things like that are regularly cleared.
Okay. Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you.
Appreciate the update. Appreciate all the work from our employees that are out there running.
I'll pass it along. Thank you.
Commissioner reports. Commissioner Burgess?
I don't have any. Yeah, again, thanks to all the crews that are out there working, and the safety, the police and the fire and everything else that's out there too. And if you can stay home until the roads are fully cleared.
I also, too, want to thank all the crews that have been out, whether it's city, county, whatever. Takes a special person to do that. So my hat's off to them. Everybody gets through it safely. Nobody's hurt. We're all good. Go home just like we came. And the only other thing I have is Jana Comer. It has birthday today, so I wish her a happy birthday. And Brian Walker, he's with the Sheriff's Department. Also like to wish him a happy birthday. And if you have time, spare time, and I know that's hard to come by, go volunteer for something. There's a lot of places in our community that are looking for people, and I really support that, so go do that if you can. That's all I have.
And I have no special report today. So with that, we have no executive sessions. Okay. We'll move for adjournment at 1:52. Oh. I don't have the gavel yet. We're adjourned. Thank you.
And PBC.
Huh?
PBC.
Oh, we got a PBC meeting.
Yeah. Well, you can adjourn.